everybody. I have one of my authors that's now almost 4 books published, Diane McKendrick, also joined me today. We're doing a little bit of a double up today, but because I'm bringing in Diane not to launch a book, although we'll do that at another stage, because that current book that Diane is in publishing with, I've co-written a chapter. So Di, to give you a bit of a backstory, we met 2018. Was it 2018, Di?
Yep.
Yeah. And she came along to the August program, which was like literally last week this year. So it's exactly 6 years since we met. And she's about 4 books almost all through. And over the 6 years, Diane's become a little bit of a mentor within my Ultimate 48-Hour Author community. She was at this last retreat last week doing the 4th book. And pre-launched that. Oh, if we have a link for that, we can also share it a little bit later as well. And I haven't shared that because I was pre-launching another book last week, but we will be talking about that a little bit more. But today, I invited Diane to just share one of the strategies that I think she's really amazing at doing with the people she helps. Set and get what you want is the topic that we want to talk about here today. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy it as well, because I always love hearing how you speak and how you explain things and where you come from. And this is one of the processes I know you do through your programs and retreats. So tell us, how can we get what we want?
Well, thank you very much, Nat, for having me here. And hello to everybody that's watching this, wherever you're watching it from. I know it's being streamed to a couple of different places. Nat gave you a really beautiful background on me and my journey and where I've come from. And I just want to add to that this is my 4th book with Nat. 6 years ago, I started my first book, and it was a very different journey because I was terrified. I was absolutely petrified of the whole process. And so I did it with Nat and Stu and the team the first time round. And because they run such a tight ship and they are so process driven and there's so much support there, I got through the process quite quickly. And then I thought, oh, well, that ended up being pretty easy. Let's go for number 2, 3, and now number 4. So I'm now writing my 4th book, and it has co-authors. I have collaborators in there, and it's so fulfilling because I'm getting more people's voice out into the world. And as you heard Nat say earlier, I run retreats and I do incredible things. And this has all been a very, I guess it seems like slow, but it's probably been quite quick journey to be able to live my passion and do what I want. And that's what I'm here to talk to each of you today. Regardless of where you are in your journey, whether you're just starting out, you're considering writing a book, you'd love to run retreats, you want to start your own podcast, like, what is that whisper? What is that thing that you want to do that then the wounding pipes up and it's like, oh, don't have time for that. I don't have the money for that. I don't know how to do that. All of those things which were popping up every single time I wrote a book, every single time I ran an event, every single time I did something that was a little bit out of the ordinary. So you've all got that. And I'd love, wherever you're watching this from, drop that in the chat. What is it that you want? Whether you're watching this now or you're watching it later, start to claim it for yourself. This is the very first step. You're around the right people. You've got the best mentors on board. What is it? What's the whisper saying? What is it that you want to do? So take the courage and drop that in the chat now. And Nat can have a look if anything comes through, because I can't see anything from here. So what happened? Fast forward. You can see?
Not yet, but we will be watching this even after the fact, and we can reply to things later on as well.
Yeah, cool. So what happened is I became a life coach for business women, supporting people to set and get their goal. Because when you look at my journey in particular, what I've done really well, and I didn't realize this until people reflected it back to me, is I would say I'm going to do something. And with great mentors like Nat by my side, I did it. It wasn't that there wasn't any fear involved. It wasn't that, there was still all the things that each of you are going through every single day, but I just got really smart and really clever about how to overcome that. And that's, you heard Nat say, I'm a mentor in the authoring community now, because I'm an expert in neutralizing your fear like that. I've done it for myself. I do it for my clients. I do it for my peers. I do it for my family. And I looked at what I'd done and I started to reverse engineer. I was like, how have I set these mammoth goals and actually achieve them. So I started to pull it apart, and this was for my third book, The Aligned Woman's Way. And it's in conjunction with my online course, which is the Aligned Woman Academy. And so I looked, what have I done to get all of this? Let's reverse engineer it and see if I can put it into a framework for you. So you literally can follow step 1, 2, 3, there's 6 steps, and get what you want, and stop sitting on the fence and stop saying, oh, I want to write a book. And then 3 years later, sitting on the fence, still saying, I still want to write a book. 4 and 5 years later, like, I still want to write a book, and you haven't pulled your finger out and actually written your book. So you've got the perfect people on your team. If you're listening to this, you're part of the community or the extended community. Now I'm going to give you the missing piece, the link, the key. Nat can't do this for you. I cannot do this for you. Nat does what she does really well. I do what I do really well. And you do what you do really well. So let us help you. If you're ready for us to support you on your dreams, goals, desires, and journey, whatever that might be. 1, what's your whisper saying? Drop it in the comments. 2, let's open up to what's possible. I'm going to take you through a couple of steps here. It's a really easy framework to follow. And yeah, fast forward 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it could actually be in your hands. Okay, so what I've done is I've made an acronym. I think that's the right word. You know, okay, so I thought reverse engineering, action. All my mentors talk about taking all this action. And I was like, I don't even like the word action, because I started working with women and men who were really busy getting lots done, really busy, but not getting much done. And so I was like, I talk about inspired action. So I want you to like anchor the word inspired action when you've been really strategic and clever and blended that with your intuition and spirituality. So then I chunked that down to make it smaller, because it's all about making it easy for you. And I came up with the acronym ACTION. So I want you to imagine up here in your vision, the word action. So for some of you, it might be big, red and bold. For others, it might be pastel pinks, but ACTION, inspired action. You've got that there. Now I'm going to go through quite quickly and tell you how I've accomplished running sold out retreats. This one's not sold out, but I'm getting close. Created a jewelry range, sterling silver jewelry range, earrings, necklace, this, protein powder, which you can see here, 4 books, and so much else. There's so much. I need to redo my testimonial for Nat. So let me show you how to get you what you want. The A stands for alignment. So look at what it is that you want. What's the goal that you set? Is this in alignment to you? Because if it's not, if it's coming from the community, your parents, something that you've seen an influencer do, and you think you should do it, it's going to be hard from the start. So there's a process that I can take you through. Well, you'll know, you'll feel it. Is this in alignment to me? And does it feel right for me? Or am I borrowing it from society or my parents or what people think I should do? So that's the first one. A is for test it for alignment. The C is community. The example here is I was petrified. Now you'll remember that first book, my whole body was debilitated at the in-person retreat from here all the way down to my hips. I couldn't move. And my whole body, like physically, was like bound up because it was so petrified. What will people think? I'm not smart enough to do this. I can't spell. Who am I to write a book? No one's going to read it. Like all the things some of you might be thinking right now. I had a moment and I was like, community. What if this book wasn't even about me? What if this book or this desire, this whisper that you're having isn't even about you? What if it was about the person you could help? And I sat there and thought, and I connected to the woman, therefore family, the father or the dad or the father figure and the kids. I was like, what if I could help her? It became less about me and that I can't spell and what are people going to think of me, and more about her. So make it about community. C is for community. Who can I make this about someone else? That is very powerful, and I do it every single time. The T stands for talk about it as though it's already happened. So T, talk about it. So I started running 6 steps to Soulful Success programs. And I started talking about these 10 grand packages that I was selling. My sister looked at me and she's like, you can't do that. That's lying. And I was like, why? Nat sells 10 grand packages. Francesca sells them. All my peers are selling them. I said, I'm not lying. I'm manifesting. So yes, it felt a bit awkward and a bit clunky. You'll hear Nat say, and Boobs, Nat's mum say, every start is hard, and even using the language and talking about it was awkward and hard, but I did it. And guess what? After that event, I sold, I think it was 6 $10,000 packages that I hadn't even created yet. I didn't have an invoicing system up, and they all paid in full. I didn't know what the hell to do. I had to scramble, create it, and make it happen. So I invite you, the T, talk about it as though it's already happening, even though it feels a bit awkward. The I is for imagine it. Every morning, that first book, even before I wrote the first word, in my morning routine, I would sit and I would imagine somebody sending me a testimony. Oh my God, Diane, this changed my life. I would imagine those books arriving, 500 friggin' books, that's a lot of books, arriving on my doorstep. I would add all of my senses and I would sit and imagine it, just like 5 or 10 minutes. You've all got 5 or 10 minutes. The O stands for own it. Own it. The best example of this, Nat, you'll remember me writing a book about being a millionaire long before I was one. I was petrified. My second book, Millionaire Mum, the best of both worlds, is up there somewhere. I wasn't a millionaire yet. My husband had just lost his job. It was the hardest time in my life, but it was a bold declaration to the universe that this is the path for me. So it took a bit longer than the other books, 7 months, but I did it and I owned it. And I want you to own whatever it is that you want. So own the identity of the woman or the man that is the author, that publishes the book, that starts the online course, that does the podcast, whatever it is that you want. And then the N stands for now. What can you do right now before your ass gets off the chair and you finish listening to this to make it happen? And once again, rewinding and reverse engineering, I did that without realizing I did it. I made the choice and I thought, what do I need? Like the first book, Nat. Oh, what do I know how to do now? I don't know how to publish a book. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know how to do anything. What I do know how to do is make a phone call. What I do know how to do is search up and, speak to everyone I know that's written a book. And then I came across somebody who had written a book and connected me with Nat. So just come to this now moment. And I was like, what do I know now? I know how to connect and communicate with people, start talking to people. Within 24 hours, I was connected with Nat. Everything fell into place. So I want to summarize that. I know this is quick and I would love to give you all access to the meditation that I created for myself, first of all, and then all of my clients, that takes you through the physical, emotional, and spiritual. It's hypnosis, actually. It's a hypnosis that goes straight into the unconscious mind. And this is why myself and my clients, we get long-term sustainable results and we get them quickly. We are not here to muck around. We've got change to make in the world, and so do you. So I'll work out how to get that meditation put in the wherever. Nat will let me know, and you can have access to that. It's only 20 minutes. So that'll be perfect for all of you. So remember that action, A, summarizing, stands for aligned. Is it in alignment with you? C stands for community. Make it about someone else and less about yourself. T, talk about it as though it's already happening. And remember me standing up there talking about a 10 grand package that I'd only ever dreamt of and selling several of them. T, talk about it. I, imagine it with all of your senses every morning, or when you do your visualizations and you sit and meditate, imagine it, holding it in your hands, handing it to someone, getting a testimonial. Own the identity. O is own the identity. Make a bold declaration to the universe that scares the pants off you to own the identity of the woman or the man that does that thing. And then it becomes your new normal very quickly. And now, once again, not later, tonight, not when you get off this call, not when you finish your emails, like right now in this moment. What is it? Book a chat with Nat, book a chat with me. There'll be something that you know that you can do right now in this moment that doesn't seem like much, that will get you to your goal. So there you go. That's it in a snapshot. What did you think of that, Nat? I was talking really fast.
No, it was really good. I was just like thinking, oh, what's my next thing I'm going to pick? And I can do these steps. And my action word was big, bold, red letters above my head. So I just, as you explained and told the stories, the only one that I forgot was I, but then now you've summarized it. You reminded me of it. So I think, and also what I was reflecting upon is perhaps my own process of how I get sit and get the things that I want. And there are quite similarities across to what I probably intuitively do, but it's wonderful that you have reverse engineered. And that's ultimately how you can teach other people, is if you've succeeded at something and then you reverse engineer the steps to show them how someone can replicate it for themselves, because sometimes people don't intuitively know some of these processes and they need to learn them, which is really cool. This is the kind of work that I love that Diane does with her clients. And I know this is one of the processes that you guys go into deep dive at your retreats. Is that right?
My gosh, Nat, I got the best story about that,
Oh,
because, you know, we all question ourselves. I know it works for me, and it had worked for the clients I'd done it one-on-one with, but I took it to the retreat. I thought, how can I teach this and add it as part of our retreat so I can be touching 20 people with this content and this intellectual property? And so many at the Energetics of Business retreat recently, I talked them through the process. And in 4 minutes, a woman who's worked with me for 3 years, who's been trying to achieve something for 3 years, she got made redundant, and then she started her wholesome cleaning business, and she'd been looking for a staff member. So she was fully booked. The next thing was for her to get the staff member. In 4 minutes, after I primed them with the meditation I've sent for you guys, she did her 4 minutes of what can I do right now, and she got her dream cleaner on board. And not only did she get her dream cleaner on board, which freed up her time after trying to do that for probably the last 2 years, she got 6 other people book in for an interview with her in 4 minutes, something that she had been trying to do. And now this is why the retreats are so important, because I could prime them and I set things up before they get there, so they are open and ready, energetically, emotionally, physically, strategically, to have it land straight away. And that's only one of the examples. There's so many examples of how this specifically at the retreats, combined with so many of the other stuff that we do, just gets people like instant long-term sustainable results. And it becomes, and then it's like popcorn. You see somebody else go through it and there's a part of your brain thinking, oh,
yes.
Where's my moment? How come that happened for her? Let me work that out. And I just watched it. And then I've set up a process as well. I'm going to tell you about that one though. Becomes contagious, and it's like popcorn. I just one pops and you can sort of see everyone sitting and go, where's my moment? And then I'll do my little thing in there. And then it's like popcorn, and every single person before they leave that retreat, they have their moment. And that, like, it's like my favorite thing ever.
I love it. You've got actually a retreat coming up, haven't you? Like in September?
Yes, we've got a retreat coming up. The dates for the next retreat are 5th to the 8th of September.
Oh, very good.
It's at the Sunshine Coast. And strangely enough, I'm usually like sold out by now with a waiting list. But luckily enough, this time around, there is a couple of spots available. So if anyone has loved what they heard and they're ready to take long-term sustainable results, I'm going to do 10% off for authors. So the price is $3,300, so it drops it down to under $3,000. It's 4 days. You're around probably about 20 other women who really value nurturing themselves, looking after ourselves. We break it down into the 6 areas of life that we use in the Aligned Woman Academy. So it's body. I just was writing my 4th book yesterday, and I was like, okay, let's tell people what have happened at the retreats. We had one lady lose, and I forget all this unless it's logged in a book, 45 kilos. From the first retreat to the 3rd retreat, she lost 45 kilos and kept it off, and is still just getting down to that incredible healthy weight. So we work with your body. We work with your money or your finances, and we change the energetics and the patterning around that. And I think the best example of the money is, you know, my sister, Michelle, and those 2 sisters, we work together. She has earned more than one occasion through what we teach people at the retreat, her whole policing wage, annual wage, in 1 day. That is what's possible. Because I was like, oh, there's not that much. I'm typing, there's not that much for this. And then I just started going, boom, boom, boom. Yes, there is. So Michelle's created over that, she used to work for 1 whole year. And we made it in 1 day. And so you've got your body, you've got your finances. We look at relationships. And once again, I look through and I was like, how have I supported, or how's the retreat supported people in that? We've had people who have had like ex-husbands or ex-partners, and they've got kids with them, so they have to communicate with them, but there's a very narcissistic bond there. We break the soul contract. So it's freeing women all over the world, so they still can speak to this person, but it's very grounded and centered instead of this back and forth. So the soul contract is that invisible energetic cord between you and another that we take you through a process. Once again, we cut that. So think about that person. Sometimes it's your mum, sometimes it's your sister, sometimes it's your kids, and you have this push and pull. So we go through a process and we cut that. So that's relationships. We go into soul purpose, like help people pinpoint what is that thing. Once you find that thing, like Nat, she's a woman who knows her thing. She feels different. She's magnetic. You've all got that. There's nothing different about me and Nat. We've just found our thing. So we help you, support you, show you how to find your thing, how to locate that inside of you so you can wake up Monday morning. That's been, you know, I think this is our second or third call already, and it's only 10 o'clock.
Yeah. It's my third one, and I'm going on to the there's multiple, still a couple more to go, and yes, it's intense, but you have this extra energy to do when you love what you're doing.
So we help people find that purpose, and then what all that equals. Spirituality, we talk about what is that for you and what do you want to connect to beyond yourself. We don't tell you what it is. We help you locate it inside yourself. And then that all leads to the lifestyle. And I think, you know, Nat, you're such a beautiful example of this, as is a couple of the other peers that we get to hang around. Like, there's really good boundaries, there's good balance, you're on purpose, you have time with your family, you're fit and healthy, you're looking after yourself, and you're also serving the community to a really high degree. And I just looked out there and I was, you know, the little shy, timid girl from Ipswich when I first started. And I was like, oh, well, if Nat can do it, could I do it too? So if you're watching this and thinking, oh, that's Diane, Nat, they're different. No, we're just a little bit further down the track. I'm 6 years in. Nat's, I think, 12 or 13 years in. And, you know, Nat helps me heaps of things. I help her with heaps of things. It's such a beautiful...
I love it. I highly recommend. I know a lot of our authors have been to one of your retreats, and if you guys, this is a unique opportunity, contact Di. Obviously you can see her name, and we might, like, if you have got an email, how they can reach out to you, Di, just pop it in there. And if you're one of my authors, our in-house authors, she's never offered this before, but you can have 10% off her retreat program, which you will absolutely love. Like I said,
it'll change your life. It's not always what you think. You don't always get what you think you want, but you will get what you need. And maybe that's the thing. Then now, as you work through the action, the inspired action plan, maybe it's just like booking a 15-minute chat. I'm going to drop a link in the chat a bit later, and if you scroll down, it's going to be the link to the retreat page, so you get a really good feel and a good sense about me, my sister, what it involves. And just down underneath, it'll say book 15-minute chat. So book your chat with me, or if you're feeling it, it'll be reserve my spot now, and you can click on that and the code that you're going to enter. Do I tell them that now? That's okay. The code for you, yeah, the code for you to enter if you are in one of Nat's in-house authors is author in capital letters, and that will auto tick your 10% off. And it's in 3 weeks, so you need to pull your finger out.
That's close. Perfect time to escape if you're in the cooler parts of the countries and go up there. I'll be heading up to that part of the country soon as well, so I look forward to it. But I wish you every success. I can't wait to see who gets their transformations. But I think this information is so cool. I love how Diane teaches it, and exactly she gets you what you need. Sometimes you think what you need is not what you need. So I love that. Thank you so much, Di, for jumping in and just sharing some value, great information, a couple of comments there. This is exciting. Is the retreat in person or virtual? It's in person, Sydney. Sydney, someone interviewed just before on her book. And Sydney was telling me she was seized up as well at parts of writing a book. And I said, oh my God, I'm talking to Diane next. And she had the same experience. You guys are so similar.
I think we met. Yes. Did we do a retreat together?
From Arizona. Yeah, you might have met, because she was last year August and you were doing book 3 then.
Yeah, that's right. And just so you know, Sydney, we had last retreat, we had a couple people fly in from LA. Takes 4 days to get here, and the retreat's 4 days. So people are coming from internationally for our retreats. Okay. And if this is a bit soon for you, the next one's in March next year. Yeah,
you could plan a few different if you want, because Sydney's also joined us in Bintan in Singapore next year for our international retreat. So I wonder if she can connect a few things together. So anyway, I think it's worthwhile conversation. Love it. Awesome, my gorgeous. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week ahead. I'm going to go do a team meeting now and a couple of other calls. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.